me now Colorado Republican Congressman Ken Buck. Sir, good to have you with us this afternoon. Picking up where Manu left off there, how much sway does the former president hold over your colleagues at this moment?
Oh, I don't think he holds any sway. I think that Kevin McCarthy has a problem because he made one promise when he was getting elected Speaker that he would hold spending to a $1.47 trillion number. He then went during the debt ceiling negotiations and negotiated with the president a $1.65 trillion number. And now he is talking to Republicans about a $1.52 trillion number, which Democrats have said they won't accept because it's less than the debt ceiling deal. So you now have three numbers that are floating around the Capitol. And it is up to Kevin McCarthy to try to figure out how he's going to get 218 votes to pass something. But the people who are upset and want the lower number are the people who voted for him ultimately after the 15th ballot or during the 15th ballot for his speaker's race. And that's the number that a lot of us are expecting that we will see for a continuing resolution and the upcoming budget.
So you said to my colleague Abby Phillip just before the weekend that you didn't believe the government was going to shut down, but also pointed out to her that you were staying in Washington over the weekend to work. You say this is on Speaker McCarthy to get it figured out, but you were trying to work on it as well. So was there any movement over the weekend?
I think there were a lot of good discussions. I think we have 4 appropriations bills that will come to the floor. I know I will vote for the rule on those appropriations bills. I did the last time on the Department of Defense appropriations bill. So I think that passing 4 appropriations bills early this week would be a very good step towards finding some common ground on a continuing resolution. I can tell you that no Republican and no Democrat wants to see government shut down. We just got to work harder and make sure we get that number right and pass it.
So you say you will vote yes on this full year appropriations bill, and you're confident there are enough of your colleagues that will follow that?
I will vote yes on the procedural rule that puts the 4 appropriations bills on the floor. I'm not sure I will vote yes on all 4. I haven't seen all 4 yet, but I will certainly vote yes on some of those appropriations bills.
When we look at what could happen here, historically, letting the government shut down is not seen as a winning strategy. It certainly doesn't help to win elections. And just to refresh the memory for people at home, what it could mean, active military members could go without pay, TSA workers, air traffic controllers as well, Border Patrol agents going without pay, thousands of non-essential government workers will be furloughed. I know you've said you don't think it's going to happen, but if we look at the timeline, it is not on your side right now. Will it be worth it ultimately?
Well, it's never worth it, and it's always terrible. But when you talk about active duty military, essential government employees, those who are guarding our prisons, those who are guarding this country, those who are actively working criminal cases, those folks are essential, and they will not be furloughed. So it's really a fraction of the federal government that may be furloughed during the shutdown. But it's not worth it. I'm not trying to excuse the behavior. I think that we should have been passing appropriations bills for months now. We should be at a point where we don't need a stopgap measure where we would have passed our 12 appropriations bills by now.
There are also concerns about, for even people who, as you say, may still get paid, people who may not get paid in the moment, though, if we're talking about back pay. How concerning is that? For many people, look, I think most Americans can understand what it's like if all of a sudden you learn you still have to go to work, but you're not getting that check this week.
Well, a lot of people who don't go to work will get a check ultimately because they will get back pay. It is not an ideal situation. We should do everything we can to avoid that situation. I don't disagree with that at all. But this is something we knew September 30th was coming all year. In fact, for thousands of years, it has come after September 29th. It has not changed. But now we know that we don't have 12 appropriations bills passed, so we've got to do something, and it's a stopgap measure. But it can't be more spending. You know, we're going to have $2 trillion of debt. By the time President Biden gets out of his first term, we'll have $36 trillion of debt. You really can't blame the 7 people who want to slow down spending for where we are right now.
All right, we're going to watch for more of these developments in these coming days, these 5 days and change that are left. You laid out last week as a member of the House Freedom Caucus why you're opposed to this impeachment inquiry into President Biden, noting that the Republican narratives about his wrongdoing are based on myth. Do any of your colleagues in the Freedom Caucus, do they agree with you in private?
You know, I haven't really talked to a lot of folks about impeachment. I think we're so focused right now on the shutdown that it is not something that I have had discussions with. I know that many of my Freedom Caucus colleagues have said publicly that they are in favor of an impeachment inquiry. I have had other members from the Republican conference come up to me and talk to me about how they support my position, that the current investigations, judiciary, Ways and Means, oversight, are sufficient at this point. It's not as if I'm saying we shouldn't look into Hunter Biden's activities to see if there's a nexus with Joe Biden. It's just we shouldn't start this impeachment process because the other investigations are sufficient.
Before I let you go, do you think Speaker McCarthy will weather this?
I do, and I mentioned before, I don't think anybody wants this job. It is a horrible, herding cats is a very difficult process, and when you've got cats with big egos in this building, it is very difficult to do.
Republican Congressman Ken Buck, appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.